Hey so guys, welcome back to another sports stuff video. Today, we'll be talking about the NFL honors that's going to be going on tonight, and I'm going to be giving what I think each award is going to go to, who I think each award is going to go to. So the awards I'm going to cover tonight are MVP, Coach of the Year, Offensive and Defensive Player of the Year, and Offensive and Defensive Rookie of the Year. As you can tell, my mic is definitely different. My audio box and my blue not Snowball, it's the other blue microphone, but the cord for my audio box to my computer is broken. So we're using the headset today. So yeah, it's gonna sound a little weird. I know, but don't worry. I'm getting it delivered on Saturday. I'm trying to continue the videos, so let's keep going. So, sports stuff, NFL honors 2025. Let's go. So Offensive Rookie of the Year, I am think it's gonna be going to Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels this last year had 3,500 yards, 25 touchdowns, and 9 interceptions, and 891 rushing yards and 6 rushing touchdowns. So that accounted for 4,000 yards, 31 touchdowns, and 9 interceptions. He led his team to the NFC Championship game, the very first rookie ever to do that, to lead him to the NFC Championship game. He showed so much potential to be a franchise quarterback. Whether he's using his legs, whether he's using his arm, he showed very good accuracy in the middle and deep field part of the field. Able to make plays happen with his legs, extend plays. He broke multiple rookie quarterback records. To me, had the best season out of all the loaded quarterback class for 2024. Whether it's Jaden Daniels, Drake May, Caleb Williams, Bo Nix, Michael Penix, he obviously had the best year of all of them. Now he had a better supporting cast than a lot of those teams, but he made the most of that supporting cast. So honorable mention does go to Brock Bowers. Again in his own right, probably the best tight end season of all time, if not best receiving season of all time. Very good player. I just think Jaden Daniels did beat him out a little bit because he was able to lead his team deep into the playoffs. And then Brian Thomas Jr., same thing. I think Brian Thomas Jr. had an amazing season as well. A lot of people have Malik Neighbors over Brian Thomas Jr. their seasons, but I do think BTJ had a better season overall than Malik Neighbors. So, Offensive Rookie of the Year is going to go to the Jaden Daniels, though. Defensive Rookie of the Year, I have going to Jared Verse. I mean, there's no one else that this award could go to. Jared Verse clearly was the best defensive rookie of this last year. He had 66 tackles, 4.5 sacks, 12 run stops, and 2 forced fumbles. He was by far the best all-around defensive rookie last year. There is no debate. Whether it was in the pass rushing game, run stopping game, I think Jared Verse well deserves his roses to win this award. He uh he showed true pass rushing prowess. It's very hard as a rookie pass rusher to, with both power, finesse, and elusiveness, get to the quarterback. And I think with Jared Verse going up against 35-year-old tackles and 30-year-old guards, he played very well. He was an elite run defender as well. I think he can easily anchor that line in Los Angeles for the next 10 years. He's so good. He's so good. I hope. Like Byron Young, also on the Rams, he had a really good rookie year and sophomore year, and it's the last year or two has fallen off completely. I hope that's not what happens with Jared Verse. I hope he continues to develop and progress as a rookie, as a sophomore, junior, senior, as a vet. But Jared Verse rookie year definitely had the best rookie year. Honorable mentions, I did go to Quinion Mitchell. Quinion Mitchell obviously was a lockdown corner. I believe he was one of the best press man corners in the league, if I'm not mistaken. Regardless of rookie or veteran, I think he was one of the best statistically. But I just think Jared Verse, again, when that defense is so lackluster with star talent, versus the Eagles, Jared Verse shines. Quinion Mitchell played in the system, has all those stars around him. I think Jared Verse, what he did was more impressive. Then Chop Robinson, I thought Chop Robinson also had a good season. Not as good as Jared Verse, a little bit quieter on the Miami Dolphins, obviously. When they're 3-14, 4-12, you're not gonna get a whole lot of talk. But I do think that Chop Robinson had a good season in his own right. But yeah, Jared Verse does get Defensive Rookie of the Year. Next is gonna be Offensive Player of the Year. Oh no, it's gonna be Coach of the Year. It's gonna be Kevin O'Connell. Yeah, Kevin O'Connell, in my opinion, obviously was the best coach this past season. Preseason, they were a mediocre team, maybe 7 wins. He led them to a 14-3 record. He saved Sam Darnold's career. I'm very excited to see what he can do with JJ McCarthy if they do keep JJ McCarthy. Because obviously there's the rumors that maybe Sam Darnold gets traded. I mean, sorry, maybe Sam Darnold gets signed to an extension and they can trade JJ McCarthy. Maybe he's the centerpiece of a Myles Garrett trade. But I do think that if they keep Sam Darnold or if they go with JJ McCarthy, no matter what, Kevin O'Connell's get the most out of them. And this past season, had a great season. Never had a season below 500 yet, as well as a first-time head coach. That's very impressive. But this year, he showed he can make any quarterback work in a system. He made Kirk Cousins look good. He made Sam Darnold look good. I have full faith that next year he'll be another head coach of the year candidate. He was one game short of the 1 seed in the NFC. When it got to the playoff time, Sam Darnold kind of crumbled a little bit. They didn't really have a run game, but they were one game short of the one seed in the NFC. That's something you can't really talk about, especially when they didn't have the talent that the one seed of the NFC did get in the Lions. You definitely can agree that the Vikings have a worse roster than the Lions. Sorry, the Vikings have a worse roster than the Lions, and he almost beat them. Like he almost got the one seed, almost won the division. That's very impressive. I see him being a perennial Coach of the Year candidate. This dude, if he can get JJ McCarthy or Sam Darnold, whatever they want, whatever direction they want to go, if they can get these guys rolling, I fully believe Kevin O'Connell can get 2 or 3 Coach of the Years in his career. Honorable mentions, obviously Dan Campbell has to be an honorable mention. The NFC #1 seed, very impressive. The only reason I didn't go Dan Campbell over Kevin O'Connell, the roster was way better, and Kevin O'Connell had less experience. Not, I don't know how to word this. The Lions had better coordinators, right? Brian Flores, as good as he is, and Aaron Glenn is far better. As good as the offensive coordinator underneath Kevin O'Connell is for the Vikings, Ben Johnson's better. They're both head coaches in the NFL now, so obviously the staff was more experienced, higher quality around the Lions. Their team overall was better, right? They had Jared Goff, that amazing run game, a top 5 offensive line, maybe top 3 offensive line in the league. Amazing wide receivers, really good defense. Yes, did get injured. Like, it is impressive. That's why Dan Campbell is my #1 honorable mention. Like, would have been #2 in voting. But I just gotta give it to Kevin O'Connell. Same with Andy Reid. During the regular season, yes, they were 15-1, but they won a lot of close games. I definitely was not as wowed with the Chiefs as other seasons I have been. They won a lot of close, nail-biting games, and I just don't think that it's Coach of the Year eligible in my opinion for compared to other guys. And Dan Quinn is even my next guy. Dan Quinn led the Washington Commanders to the NFC Championship game with a rookie quarterback with a really lackluster team. Like this Commanders team was a rebuilding team, and they went to the NFC Championship. That's all because of Dan Quinn. That's all because of their offensive coordinator Cliff Kingsbury. Their defense, I do think needs more pieces. They need another linebacker. They need another, secondary member, another pass rusher. Offensively, they needed more offensive linemen. But for what they were able to achieve, I think that was really impressive. But I just think Kevin O'Connell truly, like, showed the world, like, oh, this is a coach. Like, that is one darn good coach. But yeah, Kevin O'Connell does win Coach of the Year for me. Moving on to Offensive Player of the Year is going to be Saquon Barkley. I do not have a picture for some reason, but Saquon Barkley does win Offensive Player of the Year. Uh, the regular season, he had 2,000 yards, 13 touchdowns, 5.6 yards per carry. Then in the playoffs, he has 442 yards, 5 touchdowns, 6.7 yards per carry. So in the playoffs, he's completely turned it up. He's proved to be the best running back in the league. Whether it's his speed, his downhill running, his second speed he gets when he is downhill. Just truly this year's like, okay, this is why Saquon Barkley was a top pick in the 2018 draft. Years of injuries and the bad offensive line in New York really did lower his stock, in my opinion. I always thought Saquon was a top 5, top 10 running back, but it's injuries and bad O line play that let him always get tackled behind the line of scrimmage. This really did lower his stock, but as we can see, he is a difference maker in Philadelphia. He's the reason they've made it this far. He would have broke the touchdown and yards record if Jalen Hurts never pushed. There was many times that they were on the 1 yard line and they did not hand to Saquon. They just let Jalen Hurts rush it in. Every Jalen Hurts rushing touchdown, give to Saquon, and he would have broke every record in the books. He also sat out multiple fourth quarters, so he didn't even play full games all season. He also missed the 17th game, and on top of that, sat out multiple fourth quarters. This dude would have broke the record, and in my opinion, should have broke the record. But he would rather win a Super Bowl than have records. I respect that. I do see him winning Super Bowl MVP if they do indeed win. It'll be on his birthday, first year in the team that he rooted for growing up, and I see him having over 100 yards, multiple touchdowns. If they do win, I think he'll win Super Bowl MVP. Honorable mentions: Lamar Jackson obviously is gonna be my #1 honorable mention. Lamar Jackson had a great season. Truly great regular season. And Jamar Chase, I believe he got the Triple Crown, if I'm not mistaken. I believe he got the Triple Crown. If not, still was the best wide receiver in the league this year. Honorable mention has to go to the #1 wide receiver. Led the league in yards. I know they led the league in touchdowns, but I don't know if he led the league in receptions. That's why I don't remember. I think he did get the Triple Crown, though. Then Defensive Player of the Year is going to be going to my guy, Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett had 47 tackles, 14 sacks, and 3 forced fumbles. He's the best defender on the planet. No if, ands, or buts. He was the only consistent bright spot on this Browns defense. Obviously, when you go 3 and 14, there's going to be a lot of question marks. Myles Garrett was not a question mark. He was an exclamation point. That he is the guy on this defense. Voter fatigue could play a part. I do see a chance that maybe because he won it last year, they don't give it to him this year. They don't give him back to back. But currently, TJ Watt is the betting odds leader. He's not. TJ Watt did not have a better year than both Myles Garrett or Patrick Surtain. But it is what it is. TJ Watt and Surtain both had bad second half of the seasons. I don't even think. I think the rumor was that TJ Watt didn't record a stat since October or since November, something like that. He didn't have a sack or a tackle for the last month and a half of the season. You can't do that as a premier pass rusher. And Surtain, I'm not gonna say he got exposed, but he definitely got burned and beaten more in the second half of the season. So the rumor of him, not the rumor, the headlines of him being the decoy just kind of fell off. Trade request does dampen my excitement, but if Myles Garrett does win his second Defensive Player of the Year back to back, I'm gonna be happy. Myles Garrett, I've rooted for since 2018. He's part of the reason I became a Browns fan. He is the face of the franchise. So he does win a Super Bowl. I mean, it does win a decoy back to back years. I'm gonna be happy for the guy. But it does dampen my excitement because now I know he's not going to be coming back to the Browns. If that is what's going to happen, it's not going to be like, oh, we're going to have a two-time decoy back to back on our team. It's going to be like, oh, we traded away a two-time decoy back to back. But it's going to suck. But again, I am excited for him, but not as excited as I would be if he was going to stay on the Browns. Honorable mention, it does go to Patrick Surtain. Again, that first half of the season, he was electric. And funny enough, I do have Broncos teammates as my honorable mentions. That Broncos defense was very good last year. And Patrick Surtain, lockdown number 1 corner, top 3 corner in the league. And Nick Bonito, same thing, had a bad second half of the season. Nick Bonito had an amazing first 10, 11 games. I think he led the league in sacks and tackles for a while, but just again started to peter off, and eventually he's now an honorable mention, not the winner. But yeah, Defensive Player of the Year going to Myles Garrett 2 times back to back. That's gonna be my pick. And finally for MVP, I'm going Lamar Jackson. So Lamar Jackson had 4,172 passing yards, 41 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, 914 rushing yards, and 4 rushing touchdowns. To me, he was the best player in the league, period. This dude is electric. He is one of the best passing quarterbacks and the best rushing quarterback. And if you guys watch those games back and watch those turnovers again, those 4 interceptions were not even his fault. They were wide receivers either dropping the ball and it went into the defender's hands, or a wide receiver stopped running a route and obviously the defender ran the route for them better. But I just don't think Lamar Jackson does not get enough credit. He elevates a mediocre passing game to the top in the league. Like, you give any of these top 5 quarterbacks, Rashad Bateman, Mark Andrews, injured Zay Flowers, Nelson Aguilar in 2025, they're not putting up 41 touchdowns, 4 interceptions on 4,000 yards. They're just not doing it. I think it will be a close margin win, but I do have Lamar Jackson edging out the other guys. Honorable mention goes to Josh Allen. He had a good season, but I just don't think his impact was bigger than Lamar on his team. And Saquon Barkley, exact same story. Saquon, they have the number 1 defense in the league, a top 2 offensive line, amazing wide receivers. There's so much to scheme when you're playing the Eagles that I do think it does help Saquon Barkley. But with Lamar, it's all him, right? Obviously Derrick Henry, yes, but they didn't really do the double handoff that I thought they would do. Type of offense, like they weren't doing a whole lot of fake handoffs and Lamar rushes until the end of the season. But at the beginning of the season, it was all Lamar just passing, handing off to Derrick Henry. But I do have Lamar Jackson winning MVP, I believe for the second or third time. Go Lamar. That's all I'm gonna say. Go Lamar. I'm happy for him. He's my favorite quarterback in the league. Even though I'm a Browns fan, I can happily say that I love Lamar Jackson. But yeah, so that's gonna be my picks for the NFL honors. Offensive Rookie of the Year gonna be going to Jaden Daniels. Defensive Rookie of the Year going to Jared Verse. Coach of the Year going to Kevin O'Connell. Offensive Player of the Year going to Saquon Barkley. Defensive Rookie of the not defensive. Defensive Player of the Year going to Myles Garrett, and MVP going to Lamar Jackson. So if you guys enjoy, please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know in the comments down below who you pick for these awards before the show does come on later tonight. I'll see you guys later. Peace and bye.